Welcome. Let's begin with the next 25 questions for your West Bengal set examination. Now this West Bengal set paper was really interesting. A lot of questions came in from your research that were really good. A very less proportion was from data interpretation. However, for your Tamil Nadu set, a huge proportion was from data interpretation and reading comprehension. So for your NTA net, the upcoming examination, you could have a kind of pattern where there could be a mix and merge of questions from these sections. So be well prepared. These questions are very applicable for your net examination. Now the first question for now, you have 4 and 8 and 20. So what I do is I do 8 plus 8 and 4. So that's 4 plus 16, that makes it 20. And same I go, so I do 6 plus 6 plus 6, that's 18. So my answer here would be 18. Okay, the next question. I have sum of three numbers which is given as 102. Now this is a very simple question. Now x plus y plus z I can say is 102. The first numbers x and y are in the ratio 2:3. The next are in the ratio 5:3. Now what I do is I create a common ratio for y. That's 5 and 3. So I take the LCM. So that's 15. So I take 10 and 15 and 15 and 9. So that's my new ratio. So my new ratio is 10x plus 15x plus 9x would give me 102. So I would calculate the value for x, and since I have to find the second number, I'll multiply 102 divided by 10 plus 15 plus 9 into 15. So that would be my correct answer, and that would be 45. So 45 would be my answer here. A very direct question. So the only thing that you have to keep in mind is you have the ratios for the first two and the last two. So what you need to do is you have to have a uniform middle value to understand it. And once you have a uniform middle value, I can put the ratio as 10:15:9 and then solve it, and it becomes, or it makes the question very simple. The next is the least perfect square which is divisible by all these three. So what I do is I take the LCM of all these three numbers, all these 5 numbers. My LCM comes to 120. Now what I do is I see the pairs. Now what are the pairs that are left around? So 2 is a pair, these 3 are left around. So what I do is I take 120 and multiply it with 2, 5 and 3. So each of those would be 2 times, and therefore when it's square I take a root. So each of those, one of those would be removed. So 120 into 2 into 3 into 5 makes the answer as a perfect square. So very important question. You have to find the least perfect square. So what you do for any question like this, you take the LCM first, then you see whether the numbers are repeated. So let's say 2 and 2 is repeated, so that's fine. I don't care about it. The numbers which are not repeated, I take them one more so that they become repeated, and once they are repeated, when I am taking the square root, one of those can be removed easily. So I have 120 that I have already taken. Then for the remaining 3, I take them one times and I multiply it with 120. So 120 into 3 into 5 becomes my right choice here. So that's 3600. Now you have the argument and the inference. The argument says the choice-based credit system has been introduced to facilitate credit transfer. That's the argument that is there. So even if you don't know anything about the choice-based credit system, you can answer this question, because the inference says that it is not at all useful for students not seeking the credit transfer. But actually it is a choice-based credit system. It's not only meant for credit transfer, it has other implications as well, and therefore it is an invalid statement. So it's invalid in nature. That's the right answer. The next question is, you have a group of students who collected as much rupees as each member of the group did. So that means x into x, that's the number of the people, and the amount collected remains the same, is 2209. How many members are there? So x square is 2209. So what would be x? X would be under root of 2209, that would be 47. Now even if you know the squares of 45, you can understand or estimate the closest value won't be 43, because it's less than 45 and the value is less than that, and it would be 47. The rest of the choices are far off, so you can simply ignore those. Now here, one pipe can fill a tank in 24 minutes, so it can take, the time taken is to fill the part in 1 minute is 1/24. For the second case, it's 1/32. Now in the first case, if both the pipes are opened simultaneously, after how much time should B be closed? So if it is there for 18 minutes, the next one would be there for n by 32 minutes it would fill the tank. So I have to calculate simply n. So now that since I have the formula here, I can calculate the value of n, and that comes to around 8. So that's the correct answer. I repeat, it's a kind of very simple problem. We have the lecture on pipes and cisterns, so you can just check out that. You have two tanks, so time taken to fill tank A in 1 minute is 1 by 24. For B, it's 1 by 32. Now, since B should be closed so that the tank is full in 18 minutes. So, time taken by A to fill it in 18 minutes is 18 by 24, and n by 32, that's for the B, and that would be the area or the point where your tank is full, that's 1. So, I calculated for n. So, that's how we do. The next question is, you have a diagram here which represents square as men. You have triangle as army officers and circle as strong man. Now what you have to do, army officers who are tall but not strong. So you have this as a tall man but not strong. So this is the region which is army man and tall but not strong. So it was strong, it would have been 3. So the correct answer here is 2. So 2 is the right answer for this. 2 is the region where you have the people who are strong as well. You need to have a people where you have only army men as well as tall. So you have 4 as the region which are army and tall. If it was 2, it would be army, tall as well as strong, because you have circle as well there. So you do not have, the question has not strong, so this would be 4 as the correct option. The next question is, you have 6 boys that are there. Now 6 boys and 5 girls. A team of 6 has to be selected. A and D cannot go together. Now what you have to see is, you have to see who else would be there with E. Now B cannot be with E. Okay. So B cannot be with E, and E and R are together. So B and R cannot be part of E's team. So I remove B and R straightforwardly. So R is removed, B is removed, E is already removed. From the remaining, who would be part of his team? C cannot go with S. So let's say if S is going with him, C would remain out. So C is not part of the team. So C remains out. If S is going, T would go from the last statement. S and T go together. Okay. And so these 3 are going. Now what would be left? He needs 5 people for his team. So 4 of them have to be boys. So A and D would be the other boys that he would pick up. B has been removed and C has been removed since S has been taken. So you have A, D, E, S and T as the people who would be part of his team, of which S and T would be girls and A, D, E would be boys. So that's the way you solve this question. The next question was, IoT is Internet of Things, a very direct question. So important question. Digital signatures, again a very direct question, are encrypted information. Yojana December edition focuses on the digital India, and therefore it becomes an important topic for your exam perspective. The next question is, where do you add and compare the data? It's in the CPU or the central processing unit, a direct question. The bandwidth of data communication is measured by the communication capacity, again a direct question. The next is, you have to mention, match the list with the one who discovered it. So we have the list and the correct matches here, a kind of theoretical question. You need to remember the discoverers. So that's really asked for your NET examination, but yes, for the major discoveries you need to know and remember those names. So that's something that we have talked about. I'm not discussing it because it's a kind of theoretical and a direct question. The next is, Red Data Book is the IUCN classification, is a list of endangered species and of plants and animals. So D becomes your right answer for this question. The first World Wildlife Week is celebrated in the first week of October. So first week of October becomes your right answer. So C becomes your right answer here. The next question is, headquarter of International Union for Conservation of Nature, IUCN, is located in Gland, Switzerland. So Gland becomes your right answer, Switzerland. The next question is, protocol aiming to reduce the greenhouse gas emission is the Kyoto Protocol. For ozone, it was Montreal Protocol. So both of those become important. The next question was, you have the various layers and you have to match with the correct ones. So troposphere is the one where you have the weather phenomena that are seen. Stratosphere, where you have the ozone that is there, that's O3. Mesosphere, you have meteoroids, and thermosphere is the layer where you have ionosphere that is seen. So those are the correct matches. A very simple and a theoretical question. We have covered the layers of atmosphere in one of the lectures. Very important for your NET examination, the basics of geography as we say. The NAC is an autonomous institution of UGC and it's headquartered in Bengaluru. Now we are talking about establishment of regional NAC centers. NAC is important because you had a similar question on NAC that was there for your Tamil Nadu set. So Tamil Nadu also had it, West Bengal also had it this time. So NAC becomes important. We have covered one of the lectures on NAC, so just refer that. Under NAC you have the IQAC, that is the Internal Quality Assurance Cell, and this talks about the quality parameters for academic activities, workshops and seminars and the nodal activities. It does not focus on the syllabus. So A, B and C are the correct choices here. So you have all the functions that are there for the internal quality cell that's being given. The foundation series, you have first, that is NCERT, followed by advanced studies. So NCERT in 1961, advanced studies in 1965. Then you had IGNOU and the National Council for Teachers Education. So that's the correct order. You had IGNOU in 85 and finally you had the other institute that was there. So that's the correct order of the institutions. Again, a very theoretical question. You have to remember the years to answer this question. Learning the treasure within, this is second time this question has been asked. This was also asked in your JK set examination. Very important, Jacques Delors paper that talks about the learning the treasure within is a report on education. So very important for your upcoming examination. In India, higher education aims to inculcate moral values. So that's the most appropriate choices from the given options. So moral value is the right answer. The next is, which is not included under the National Skill Qualification Program. It includes the vocationalization of education, talks about the Kaushal Kendra or the skill centers. It talks about community colleges. So the thing that's not there is C, and these are the topics that have been part of your scheme for skill development or skill qualification. That's the Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Vikas Yojana, Sankalp, Udaan, Star, Polytechnic colleges and vocationalization of education. So this Polytechnic scheme is what is community colleges. So that's again important. The last question is, you have to match the various list with the correct options here. So digital library is the repository of learning knowledge. You have Swayam, which is basically the massive open online courses. You have Swayam Prabha, which is the DTH channel that's there, and the National Learning Program for Technology Enabled Courses is the courses for engineering and sciences. So that's the correct choices for this question. So with this we cover all the 50 questions for your West Bengal set. A very good luck for your upcoming NTA examination. Wish you all the best, and we'll be coming up with papers discussions as your paper finishes. We do expect that you send in your papers, but all the discussion would be made only after your last exam that's held on 22nd. Before that, we won't release the answer keys and the solutions for the questions that were asked. So just stay tuned in line for the updates that would be coming up from Examrace. Have a great day ahead.